It's like a step or two behind. Right.
What?
Except
That
for
is wow.
This is where you're ahead.
Wow.
In the podcast stuff.
With the podcast, but I'm a step behind everything else. Is that what we're saying right now?
Every other conversation.
Wow.
It's your selective hearing.
I was like, I know I'm a step behind my flicks, but I mean that's.
I drive through the mud and miss half the conversation.
It's like the world's moving at 240 frames, and I'm stuck here back at 30. You know,
you are, dude, with that monitor. Come on, you can't keep up with that. All right, composure.
Yeah.
After you, kind sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of What the Wednesday. It is myself, the hosts of tonight's podcast are myself, and across the screen from me is Dusty, the Game Hopper. Dusty, how has your week been? Yeah, hold on, before you say anything. As I'm cutting you off before you even get to talk, I have been spending almost an entire week thinking of how to not call you a co-host. That's how I came. Hosts. The hosts of the night are. I was like, how do
hosts are myself and blah blah blah.
I was like, how do I make that work?
Easy. But obviously you were there for part of my week, so you know how it's been. But otherwise, it's got out, did a lot of drinking this past 6 or 7 days. I don't know if that's great for me. I enjoyed it, but the liver will say something later on in life. But it's been good. Can't complain. A lot of video games, a lot of beer, a lot of pool, a lot of sun.
I will say, if he's listening, if he's watching, anything like that, Super Chicken, Brian, it was an awesome experience to be able to get to meet you and just spend a couple hours and have some fun, man. That was a blast. I had a ton of fun this weekend, just being able to get out.
Florida awaits his return.
Yeah, just being able to get out. So that's kind of like amazing, right? Like that experience. We've talked about it. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like just being able to like get out of the house and be like, yeah, I want to go do something. Being able to kind of get back to that point is totally changing everything, right?
Huge, absolutely wonderful. So me and Q and Chicken, we went and played some pool. Had a few beers, talked a bit, and then Chicken and his wife had to go get some earlier sleep because they had to go to the beach the next day. So me and Q took me to his beer spot, his beer guy. I got to meet the beer guy, cider guy, whatever we're calling him. But really awesome gentleman, Matt, and it was just me and him talking to the owner, drinking for like 2.5, 3 hours that night, which is awesome.
We closed 2 places down on Saturday.
We
Isn't
did.
That crazy?
Yeah. Oh, what an experience! What a time! I'm looking forward to going back again.
Well,
what about you, man? How was your week? What else did you do?
How has my week been? Oh, honestly, pretty terrible. But that's, the weekend was great.
Outside of that,
the week's been pretty terrible, dude. Last week I got shrapnel in my truck, right? I got shrapnel in my tires in my truck. I had to get new tires, and then went to go get new tires put on my camper today, and Tech cross-threaded one of the lug nuts. So, and they're trying to blame it on me, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So it's been, dude. And then, so like 20 minutes before starting stream, I found out that I've got a fish tank.
Mm-hmm.
And we have like chemicals for the fish tank that sit in a little basket under the fish tank. And one of those was leaking, and it's all over. It basically waterlogged my wood floor. So that'll be a fun experience afterwards. But anyway.
Just make sure at any point over the next couple of weeks you don't utter the words, what else could go wrong?
Yeah.
Don't say that.
I don't plan on it. I've got to tow the trailer like 200 miles to South Florida. I'm like, I'm not saying anything. Yeah. I'm just being like, I love my day. Everything's amazing.
Yeah. If you do say it, just turn on all the water or not the weather. God, weather windows and stuff in your house.
Yeah.
The weatherproofing. That's what I was trying to say.
Put all the panels and everything on before I leave. Yeah.
Just lock it up, button down. And prepare for the hurricane that will strike your house. Just you.
Yeah. So, episode 34? Are we on 34? I feel like we should be further than that. Maybe? But I'm gonna go with 34. I think I'm
voice, you can say it uncertainly.
I think I'm way 34.
35?
No, that's got to be way off. We got to be way off here.
I feel like it's 35.
Is it 35?
I feel like we made a 29 back-to-back joke 6 weeks ago.
I feel like it's been a long time. 35. You are correct. Episode 35. Look at that. Look at that. You win. All right, episode 35 tonight. We have some good topics, some carryovers, which are nice. Having those preloaded, pre-ready to roll.
Yeah, it means we don't have to do any extra work during the week.
Saving up, yeah, exactly. Saving up the concept of budgeting, which conveniently enough, our buddy Harris Heller just released a video for the 5 most overhyped products you can buy as a young streamer. So
I feel like he's poaching our content.
Yeah, I know. I think he watches the podcast and then creates a YouTube video before we're able to do our next podcast. I think that's what happens.
He knows he can take it from us because he's like, nobody watches these guys, so nobody's gonna know that they're being referenced. Harris, we're watching you, man.
We're watching you.
Keep up the great work, though. Love you.
Yeah.
No. Great guy.
So there was new Twitch category, which I think both of us are titled something along that line. What's this new category about? And
I'm going to Smash Brothers reference.
The third one's is stop making excuses for your bad content, which kind of ties in potentially with budgeting a little bit there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of crossover.
So with
that, hit that category first, or
yes, we're definitely gonna hit. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the week. I am looking forward to the week that we don't have a hot tub topic to talk about. Like
it might be a minute, but yeah,
it's become a thing now where like I feel like every week something new dramatic is happening in the hot tub universe. So I don't know.
Which part of it too tells the story of how much it's accelerating as far as the priority that it's trying to be figured out, talked about, criticized, everything like that, because there's something new each and every week that's happening. So we'll see. It's either going to calm down and continue on being what it is, or it's going to come to a breaking point. But let's talk about it.
Yeah, so we've found out over the week. Was it over the weekend? It was like last Friday. Friday, so
I heard about it while I was streaming Friday. So
so it's been about 3 to 4 days now that it's been out. So last week we talked about Amaranth advertising and all the hoopla that went around with her, and so what we've come to kind of conclude is that Twitch's response to that was, okay, advertisers don't like these hot tub creators, these hot tub people. I'm like, how do I? What's that definition?
They don't like the meta.
They don't like the meta in Just Chatting. They don't like their advertisements being in that. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them their own category and let advertisers decide whether or not they want to be a part of the category. So I'm thinking the only thing you're going to see is, what's that suntan lotion with the little naked girl's bottom on it? It's the dog that's pulling on her like diaper or something. You know which one I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
You don't know what suntan lotion that is?
Does this face looks like it uses a lot of sunscreen?
Oh my gosh.
Outside of like Banana Boat?
Coppertone.
There are a lot of
Coppertone. It's Coppertone.
There you go.
Coppertone has like the little girl.
They use a dog trying to take off a child's bathing suit.
Yeah, I was like, that's a perfect.
That's a little questionable.
That's perfect for the new category though. Twitch has introduced a category called pools, beaches, and it's beaches, hot tubs, and pools, hot tubs, something along that line. It's the three water things.
Pools.
So now you have your own little place to go, and Twitch has basically said, if you're in one of these 3 categories, you fit.
Yep.
Attire policies still apply, which makes no sense, but we're giving you your own private space to go hang out.
Yeah, which, honestly, the main reason, if people aren't really understanding, it's to make it easier for Twitch, obviously, because everything they're usually doing is for their benefit. When they have advertisers that say, we don't want to be in that type of category, it's a simple checkbox probably for where the ads air instead of nitpicking channels here and there for the type of content they're producing.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is going to it's going to become like that weird space on Twitch. Have you ever gone to like the bottom of Just Chatting? Where you get that like...
It's got to be a dark area.
It gets to be really weird. And it's really funny because like some of these channels exist.
Out of YouTube.
Yeah, some of these channels exist and they're really weird. Mm-hmm. It's like you get in that like mid-tier, like 10 to 20 viewers and Just Chatting, and there's so many of those channels that you find these some really weird stuff, and it's like as soon as they get above 50 or something, they have to like kick it, tone it back because they're gonna get discovered about how weird it. But it's like
doing some like weird satanic rituals.
It's
or
like
something.
it's like just real racy stuff, not racist, but real racy stuff.
Yeah.
Like really just like borderline edgy, you know, like kind of just like I don't know, I don't even know how to define it, but I've been on there sometimes and I've been like almost like
how?
Like like almost like hentai and like straight up pornographic content and things like that. Like, and it's just existed in this bottom nethers of just chatting that's never, you know, because
bottom of a well.
Yeah, it's not monitored right actively or regularly or anything like that. It's just happened if somebody comes across it and they're like, oh, you get banned, right? Like these people have nothing invested, right? They're just leveraging it. And
like the tree statement, you know, if nobody's there to report your content for being against TOS, is it against TOS? You know.
So how?
Which, yes, it is, guys.
Yes.
Don't be stupid. But like,
how do you
it's gonna take a long time.
How do you regulate this new category? Like, because everything, and that's kind of the weird state that I'm in. We talked about this a little off stream. The weird state that I'm in is Twitch's whole stance on this, not just chatting, this nudity and attire policy, right? When it comes to this, because they keep saying that just because somebody considers you. Just because somebody considers you not even attractive, just because somebody is thinking that you're wearing something that's indecent doesn't mean you really are. Well, who makes that decision? Like, at what point does somebody say that this is indecent to wear, even if you're at the beach, right? Like, even if you're in a pool, you've gone too far, right? Like, when does that get defined?
Yeah, well, I mean, that is like the words that Twitch used was being found to be sexy by others, not against their rules.
Which I understand.
Like they're not gonna take action against anyone for their perceived attractiveness.
Which I understand that clause to say, like, just because because you could have a very pretty lady wearing a formal gown and she still seems attractive, right? Like, I totally understand those words specifically.
Hey man, I love an attractive woman in just some like baggy sweatpants and a t-shirt.
Sure,
like,
yeah, no, I mean,
not necessarily about the attire, but when it's like, you know, bikinis and these outfits that might as well be lingerie but not lingerie, because God, if I'm ever gonna understand women's fashion, there's 9 different ways to identify a piece of clothing.
So, and that's where I get into a weird, like, at what point does it get too far? Like, what I'd have to reread again. I haven't gone into that, but like, if you go with, like, you can't wear underwear. So you can't wear underwear on stream, but you could wear. Can you wear a sports bra if you're working out as a female? Can you wear just a sports bra? I'm asking. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you got to wear bottoms, but
sure, yeah. I mean, obviously, but I mean, I don't know.
I would assume, based on the guidelines that they post, yes.
Okay.
It's just like I know when Ludwig was doing his, or when Nick Merckx do their workout streams. You know, you can be shirtless working out because it just has to be like a attire that fits the situation. You know, so I don't necessarily why the sports bra would be an issue.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've never heard of that being confrontational, but I'm just trying to get to the point. Like, I would have to reread again exactly what the definition is for some of this. Like, what can you wear? Do you have it in front of you right now? Or I see you're kind of browsing a little bit here.
I'm just looking at the like announcement about the new category thing.
Okay.
It
doesn't. I know it still says the new rules. I would have to go back. I know I read through the whole policy, but it's been like 3 or 4 months, and I'm like, now I'm to the point where I've forgotten it. But I wanna say that it just gets to the point to where it's so specifically vague. Like it goes into detail and then doesn't ever get to the point to say like this is or isn't, and it kind of says, you know, like sleepwear or whatever, but then it gives like an excuse and it does, you know, whatever. It's so back and forth, and I just can't get. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, like say like you're laying in your bed about to sleep for part of your stream, which is part of your content at that point. Like, can you just be chilling in your boxers, or like a girl just in like I don't know, like it. I I am with you that the grayness of the defining rules that Twitch still has on so many things is just ugh. Like why? We just need to know.
Like, personal opinion, like undergarments
Yeah,
gone,
I think
right?
I'm
Like
hearing
that should
myself a
be
little bit by the way on your end. I don't know if I'm doubling up
uh
volume wise.
no, but I have my open speakers on. Good call.
Okay,
Good call.
gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you. Um Totally ruined the first 15 minutes of this recording, but that's
Meh,
okay.
all right,
Listeners
we'll
will
get past
enjoy
it.
it anyways. But like, yeah, like undergarments to me, period, gone, right? Like
Yeah,
just make it flat, make it blank and be done with it, right? Like as a streamer, if you go to the beach, right? If you go to the
yeah,
beach, wear a tank top over your bathing suit or whatever. Like that's not again, at no point to me as even as a guy, hey, you want to tell me I have to wear a tank top or a rash guard or whatever? If that's the
yeah.
rule, make that the rule flat. Like I don't care, right? But make that the rule, period, and be done with it, right? Like because as long as you leave it gray, people are going to find ways to manipulate it.
Very much so. And
And I just
obviously, the platform that this all exists on, a majority of it being male viewership, it is starting to get closer to an even 50-50. I think it's down from like the 85% it was to 68 or something like that percent, and now it's just males. That obviously it's more beneficial for the women who can show a little bit more skin to do so and get more viewership out of it. Where I don't know, I don't necessarily see. I mean, you're seeing a lot of ironically done pool, beach, hot
yeah,
tub
but
streams from guy streamers in bikinis and silly mermaid costumes and things like that. But I don't think there's a lot of dudes in shirts, like dudes shirtless working out and things like that are getting the same kind of attention uh, as the hot tub streamers and stuff is.
yeah, I just and again,
Which
make it
and it's not really any different if you really think about it on the surface. It's just how it's being consumed
correct, and
on the platform.
that's the concern, right? Everybody
Yeah,
says, well, like, oh, it's just your body, whatever, right? Yeah, but it's what people do with that content once they see it, right?
yeah,
It's what people are, and that's my whole thing. Like, if you're an IRL streamer and you're at the beach and you want to hang out and you want to IRL stream, great. The
yeah,
camera should be out at the beach or doing
yeah,
whatever, right? Yeah, show yourself, do whatever. But you're at the if you're an IRL streamer, your content is your environment. Not, I mean, it is you, but it's your environment. Put a shirt on, right? Wear a rash guard, wear beach appropriate tankini or whatever it is, right? Like, I mean, I only know the term tankini because we were buying bathing suits for my daughter for the summer. That's the only reason I know what that is right now.
yeah.
So,
Which to touch on that real quick too, one of the problems that I saw because I was again, peeked the category the other day to kind of see the people doing ironic things, people actually doing it, see what kind of content. Some of it's just like a video of, a pool sitting there with nothing in it, and people just throw floats in, and there's 20 people watching. But I saw it was a 16-year-old female doing her own hot tub stream, and that to me is another area where it starts to become a bit more of a problem.
you've got who knows how
Yeah,
old individuals with clips and VODs and all other kinds of things and generating content. And here's the problem is because
yeah,
we like to say that, oh, well, they're just chatting. Oh, they're just hanging out talking to us. Oh, they're doing whatever. No, you're generating content based on the amount of skin you're showing. Period. I don't care who you are as a hot tub streamer.
yeah,
If you can tell me that you can sit in a chair and be fully clothed in a room, like you can just sit in a blank
you
room
get to see, yeah,
and have the same amount of viewerships and get the same amount of donations and get the same amount of
yeah,
subscriptions and not do that kind of content, then if you can prove that to me, then I'll give you all the credit in the world for being an amazing content creator. But if you're going to do
yeah,
that, right? If that is the only way that you think you can generate revenue, especially at that age, I think we've got a terrible thing set up for the future.
yeah. Because I don't blame the content creator again for this scenario. It's the shitty level of consumerism that we all have going to these channels, watching it, giving them the money, supporting what they're doing by showing more skin and condoning the behavior. And again, because again, you can go to a beach and you can see a bunch of people in bathing suits. It's a normal, everyday, gonna happen thing. Again, if you live somewhere where it's warm, like in Florida. But the problem for me is that we're condoning the behavior of stare at me in this bikini, pay me to put on another one, pay me to put on another one, pay me to put your name on me, where it becomes all about the sexualizing of it. That's the problem to me.
Right. No, I totally agree. It's come to the point, yeah, like if you're a surfer, go surf. Wear your surf appropriate clothing. If you're whatever, I don't know, if you're a swimmer, right? If you're in a pool swimming, good for you. Like actually doing laps in an Olympic-sized pool and you're streaming it, good for you, right? But there's a reason swimmers wear full-body swimsuits. I mean, like professional swimmers, right? It's not.
No, yeah.
I mean,
they're not trying to sexualize.
Well, it's not even that.
It's again, it's the problem of us people more so than anything. You know, that's the tough thing that it's always hard for me to wrap around when we talk about this. It's like we're not blaming these women for being attractive. Like, God bless the female body. You know, it's so much better than what we have going on. But it's just it's sad that it's viewed this way. And it's sad that it has to be like this, where, you know, it does become a problem when there's just 7,000 people in a chat and 2 people are talking because everybody else is just sitting there ogling this person in a bathing suit.
I wouldn't even say it's 2 people, but
I mean,
like
extreme.
I would say, like, I mean, but again, and you can see that by the type of chat that exists in those channels, right? Like we've looked at that and we've sat. I mean, unfortunately, I'm now at the point where Indie Fox is a recommended channel for me, which it drives me insane. Honestly, I'm not happy about it, but I could just hit not interested, I guess. But it's one of those things where like you sit in the chat and you're just like monitoring chat and you're like, okay, what's going on? And it's foul. Like it's worse than what you see on comments on a what do they call those? A skin flick. Skin flick? Smut. That's the word I was looking for.
Man. Digging for the word smut. And you got to catch it because they have their mods, and you know, I would say it's like half the stuff that's being sent in those channels is being deleted or auto-modded out.
I don't even think it's auto. Like on some of them, they let it fly, and they're like, you know, and they play off of it, right? Like, I mean, I've seen it just
they use it as a moment
just
to like
scroll, and it just scrolls on up, and there's no mod chasing it, and I'm like
to bash the viewer, say something back to them, defending themselves, and which again, I don't condone that. Like, I don't condone that more than I don't condone the hot tub streams. Like those people out there that just spitting foul nonsense in the chat, like. Why? Go do something else with their life. But it's just it's going. It's like a breeding ground for bad things.
Yeah, it's going. I still think that Twitch is going to come into, especially like, you know, you mentioned this underaged streamer, right? Somebody who's not even eligible to go see a rated R movie is now creating her own rated R content theoretically, right? And you're putting them in a position that, you know, they think that that's what they need to do to generate revenue, and it that could become a serious problem. Like that could not necessarily. I'm not talking about for her future. I'm talking about if a viewer goes too far. You know, these are again. We've talked about kids in the past. Impressionable viewers, people, and especially impressionable content creators, right? That will do crazy things to please their fans and to get themselves noticed. All she needs is somebody to come into her chat and say, hey, I'll give you $1,000 if you accidentally slip your top off. And boom, that's game over, right? I mean,
or the DM, you know, offering money for illicit pictures and things like that.
And it's game over. Twitch is going to get in so much trouble. And that's what I think that it's becoming problematic. That's where the problems lie. And again, if this could be a situation where this could exist and not be sexualized, right? Like if this could exist and not be sexualized, then it would be perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, you want to sit, it's hot outside, right? It's hot in my office. You know how amazing it would be if I could, it's 95 degrees in my office sometimes when I'm streaming. If I could sit in a tub of water, then that'd be great. I mean, of course, I'm not going to get sexualized over it, but
I pretty much am playing games shirtless 99% of the time when I'm not live.
Exactly.
Just because combination of being hot Florida, I have this computer here just spitting out heat, like.
Exactly. I
And
mean,
it's. Yeah, go ahead.
you'll see me. You'll see. I mean, you won't see me because my camera's turned off.
You'll
But
see him.
I've got like my super short pajama shorts on, and that's it. When I'm like playing by myself. Playing by myself, yes, playing by myself. To make sure I say that correctly.
Yeah, you got to double check those words. No, it again, it's not going to end well, and it's not anybody's fault. It's a casualty of the shitty world that we're in, where, again, the internet. What is it? 85% of what exists on the internet is porn. That's the traffic and the money and things like that. So it's just. To me, that's what this is becoming. It's the illicit content breaching its way into. I'm not going to necessarily call Twitch a safe place online, but safer than those other websites.
Right.
It's going to become the next campsite. Where you're going to go to Twitch and there's going to be an adult section up top that you click on, and it gives you a whole bunch of nonsense to look at. So.
Live. Yeah. You know what? I wouldn't be at this stage. I wouldn't be surprised if Twitch didn't spin off a partner site or purchase some other platform and just basically turned it into, Twitch After Dark or something like that, right? Like,
especially you throw the logo on there. Sheesh.
It would be, logo with the little Twitch guy with a little moon in the background or something like that.
Or no, it's just like one of the eyes is winking.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Sign me out. I'll make that. Pay me.
Okay. So
the advertising money.
So a topic to carry over. I would say let's table this for this week because I do want to continue to say that. Yeah, I do want to say that we need to keep talking about this as it continues to be relevant.
Yeah,
and
we gotta follow it.
It's something that we're gonna have to keep an eye on Twitch and keep calling Twitch out. Like I'm trying to find clippable content whenever we have these podcasts and like tag Twitch and say, hey. You guys are making the wrong decision here. This is not the right approach. You're giving these people approval to basically generate lewd content, and Amaranth has got, we talked about Amaranth in the past. Like, Amaranth has come on and said, if Twitch just says we can't do it, then we won't do it. We'll find another way. But
they're going to keep
as long as I can cash in. Yeah, exactly. As long as I can cash in, I'm going to, right? Like, why not at that point, right? So I totally.
It's not their fault. I still am a firm believer behind, they're just doing what they can to make money, and that's all we are. That's all we're all doing in this world is just trying to make a buck, and if you have an opportunity to make a lot faster so you can work less later in life, go for it. And unfortunately, it's on the platform to make the change because it's a slippery slope. It's going to get real sketchy real quick if we start allowing things like that, and who knows where it's going to end up. So we'll keep an eye on it all for you guys.
Yeah, so we'll table that for this week. We'll move into another our budgeting for budgeting as content creators. But before we go there, I want to say that we need to
from our sponsors?
We need to no
jacuzzi tubs.
Yeah.
No, imagine.
This podcast brought to you by Jacuzzis Are Us, or what's the one that put a pool in your backyard? You got a backyard, we put a pool in it. I can't remember what it is. There's some commercial.
Is that a jingle?
Yeah, it is. It's a jingle. I can't remember what it is, but
nice.
I want to say that we need to talk next week. We need to include the discussion that we talked about before about content creators, and we'll tie those two together. Content creators leveraging live streaming content to sponsor OF content.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll table that. We'll tie both of those into next week. That's going to be...
We'll be able to go wild with that.
That's going to be a little spicy on that one, but that's very opinion-pieced for sure.
Next week.
Yeah, it's very opinion-pieced for sure. But so for those of you that are listening, and remember, next week we will be talking about that one.
Yeah, just OnlyFans. Just know that's what we'll be talking about next week. Come back.
OnlyFans.
That's all we have to say. Clickbait. I'm in.
So,
man.
So moving on to budgeting for content creators. As we mentioned in the beginning, Harris Heller produced a video that released
I have to watch that.
Today? I think I don't know. It was on my YouTube feed of go watch this. So I was like, okay. Harris Heller, it's the 5 most overhyped devices for content creators. And I totally agree with him. On his. I don't agree with most of his use cases, but I agree with everything he says. And
you have to walk me through his answers if you know them off the top of your head.
Oh yeah, so it was. I mean, we'll go through, and I want to talk more about like budgeting specifically as a young content creator. Like, what should be the first thing you go after, and how should you spend your payouts? Like, if you're streaming YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you're streaming, if you're actually generating revenue, where should you be investing in? What pieces become valuable to invest in, right? So I want to start with saying that, and those depend on platform, right? So Harris's video, his 5 things that were most overpriced or most overhyped devices for content creators until you're like pro level, right? It was the Fiverr logo. Like, a lot of people spend way too much on their logo, and the only people he makes a claim that the only people that super care about their logo, like, or the only people that use these like gamer branded logos, you know, like he makes reference, like, it's the 3 different colors with the person on it. It's got your name in like, you know, what
I have one of those.
Yeah,
necessarily.
Everybody's got one, right? Everybody's got one.
Yeah.
But he said the only people that use that is small content creators. If you look at any big streamer, nobody uses that, right? They use their face. They use something else, right? Like, stop using that to leverage, your content, because it doesn't matter. The only time your logo matters is if you're selling merch like crazy. So find a way to sell merch first and then get a logo to put on it, right? Like, if you're not selling any merch, then your logo doesn't really matter at that point, right?
Yeah.
The second was...
No, you're not wrong.
The second was a super expensive webcams. He makes the claim that going straight DSLR is better in the long run because it stays with you. Like, you can go from a C920 to a DSLR because you're not going to throw away the DSLR if you go pro, right? No, you're going to keep it, right? Like, that is your end all version versus, and yes, it's super expensive, but spending money.
Ooh, that's the truth.
Spending money, like buying a stream cam and then buying another one and then buying another one, right? Kind of, you're spending money in the long run to get minimal gains.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd agree with that. I've spent too much on webcams already, and I totally understand where he's coming from.
At least, like, for me and you, like, we're at least using them for multiple angles and stuff like that. It's real silly when the people just do it and they just, they take the one off, replace it with a new one. Take the one off, replace it with a new one. At least leverage the other equipment you have to somehow add to your content, right?
Yep.
If you got the equipment, use it.
Yeah. Number 3 was the SM7B. He makes reference to the SM7B.
Straight after Shure, huh?
Yeah, he said the SM7B. He said he's not knocking the microphone, right? He thinks it's an amazing microphone, but it's not what people think it is for Twitch, right? Like, you don't get the gains out of it that you you could buy $100 mic and get near same results as a $400 mic. There's no point. Right? There's no point unless you've got an SM7B sitting in the closet already because that's what you use. Then
that's fair,
right?
I can agree with that.
Number 4 was 4 was Elgato Lights.
Oh my god, those key lights are so expensive.
Yeah, he said there's cheap alternatives that you can get. Again, yes, Elgato Lights can be pro, right? Like, those are definitely worth it if you don't have anything else to spend your money on. Yeah, right. Like, they make sense. Number 5. Trying to remember. Oh, gaming chairs. Gaming chairs. He said, unless you have back problems and you use a gaming chair. Yeah, unless you have back problems and you use a gaming chair. I don't have one.
I'm just fat. I needed something that was heavy duty.
Yeah. So. Unless you have back problems. No, but he makes that claim. Unless there's a value in it for your content, like, unless you need it to make yourself comfortable, they're overpriced most times. Yeah. Right? Like, you can find a nice mesh chair that'll last you 2 years for $100 and replace it in 2 years, right? And then, when you get to the point that, again, you don't have anything else to upgrade to, I think a lot of people buy gaming chairs because they look, they feel like it looks the part. A lot of people do. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So you're not wrong. Yeah, they just want that in the frame because that's what they see.
Right. So those were the 5 things. I would have to say that I agreed with all of his things. The only thing I disagreed with a little bit, I don't even know. I'm trying to think about it. Like, I was trying to think about it. I was like, you mentioned the webcams.
Yeah, that would be the one I disagree with most. Just again, but there's a caveat of as
Right.
long as you're leveraging them for your content, using
Right.
them.
I mean, I've got multiple camera angles, right? And that's the benefit
Yeah.
there of having the multiple camera
Yeah.
angles and being able to do that. I do still think a DSLR setup, and he makes a claim that, like, other than a DSLR setup, you could do like a GoPro and a cam link. Like, you could do a GoPro setup and do that instead, right? And it would still look nice. You're about to sneeze.
Woo! One more. All right, we're better.
So
always twos, never threes.
you could end up with something else. And I think webcam is a very good one. I think as a starting streamer, like we've always made the claim, I think as a starting streamer, you should have a webcam. Like, unless you have some specific reason that you cannot be on camera, you're a recognizable face or something along the lines. Like, unless there's something going on that you cannot be on camera, like you're in witness protection or something weird, right? Like something crazy, then you should have a camera, right? I really think every streamer should. I think that we've talked about this in the past, that I think there are way too many people who will discredit somebody who doesn't have a camera than there aren't, right? Like, you're not giving yourself any brownie points by not having one.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Yeah, I would say I would maybe allow it in my mind if it's like some brilliant PR stunt on your part as well for like a big face reveal down the road, you know? But you still have to then be very active at making yourself someone people want to know who you are, you know? So otherwise, if you're a brand new streamer, you know, and you're like coming up like, you know, face reveal when I hit affiliate or partner or 100 subs, whatever it may be, whatever you want your goal to be. Like, if anybody's coming by for the first time, they're like, I don't care. I don't know who you are. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why is that going to matter to me?
It makes it hard to sell yourself that way. I don't think it works for a lot of people, because unless you're already famous, nobody's going to want to invest in you for that reason, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't get the personal connection. That's what I need for me. That's why I like seeing a webcam.
I like seeing people's reaction to things.
Yeah, no,
right.
Yeah,
like I hear people
don't play
talking.
Horror games if you don't have a webcam, things like that.
I hear people talking, and I hear like a monotone voice on the back end of a game. So it's already it's mixed in. I feel like I'm being narrated to, and I feel like the game is being narrated to me, and I can't see the person's reaction to what's going on. I can't see their reaction to my my chats. I can't hear anything. Like, there's no way to put tone. I mean, you can understand tone when you're talking on when you're listening, but it doesn't correlate to like the experience.
No, yeah, not at all.
It basically turns it into like a podcast with a gaming soundtrack added to the back end of it, like or a giant monologue. It turns into a long monologue. Right, somebody's reading a book to you or something along that line. Like, it's not a Twitch experience, right?
And it's interesting that is something that I see posted on like the Twitch subreddit all the time.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yes. About that. Yeah.
Should I have a camera? Do I need to have a camera?
Yeah.
Why should I have a camera? What's the purpose of a camera? What can I get by without one?
I want to stream, but I don't want to use a webcam. Is that okay? And
is it okay? Yeah. Are you going to be successful? Probably not. I mean, and it
doesn't help to not have one.
Now, budget wise, what would you say? Like,
how much to spend on a webcam?
Well, how much to spend, and what on a priority of 1 to 10? Priority of 1 to 10. How much do you think How much do you think it's valued at?
Like,
one being high. One being high, like the number one. Like out of things to spend your money on.
Oh, okay.
Out of things that you could spend your money on
we've gone over this like our mic, things like that. I mean, I honestly, in my opinion, I still say it's a top priority. It's up there with, a microphone. To really connect with a viewer, you need to talk to them, and I feel like they need to be able to see you, and you need to be able to express yourself to them. And you can do a little bit with your voice, but to really express yourself, people need to be able to see you, see your reactions, see your mannerisms and things like that. So I say mic and webcam are, 1 and 2 for connecting with the viewer to help your growth.
I think
we've
I think you're totally. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think webcam over mic, because guess what? A webcam technically has a mic built into it.
It's not great,
but there's been some funny clips of people. There's a funny clip running out there somewhere of somebody screaming into their microphone, and people keep wanting me to reenact it, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But it's funny nonetheless, right? Like, I'm not doing it, but it's funny.
And you can get something good for $50. It doesn't have to be anything insane.
Yeah, and if you are on a tight budget, I would say $100 would be the most I would spend on a webcam. If you're on a tight budget, the C920 is finally coming back down in price.
Oh,
finally,
and it's in stock,
back to normal. I saw it for like $65 the other day, so I think it's finally back to pre-COVID levels.
Thank God for the world.
I know. Now, if we could just get microprocessors or transistors or whatever it is to get back into check, right?
Get back out there. Silicon.
Silicon chips. Yeah, silicon chips.
That's the word.
That's the biggest thing to me. What would you say would be like the next thing that you would think of, like budget wise? Like, we did kind of talk about this a long time ago, but I'm trying to think of like if you're getting your first payout and you got $125, right? You just dropped $60 on a webcam. Where does the rest of your money go?
So we're saying that they didn't have the webcam already.
Okay.
And they got to pay out, right? That's what you're saying?
No. Let's rephrase that. Let's rephrase that. We'll start that over. We'll assume you have a webcam and or some form of microphone, right?
Okay.
And you're getting your first payout as a streamer. Like, you're sitting in your living room on a couch, or you're sitting in your bedroom at a desk, and you've got nothing but a webcam and a microphone and your gaming computer. What is the first thing you invest in? Like, what do you go spend money on?
That's tough. Because again, we're assuming the essentials are already there. Do you have anything off the top of your head?
I would probably
scratch my brain.
I would probably go with a cheap set of lights. Either a cheap ring light for your camera.
If they don't have lights.
If you don't have lights yet and you're just using ambient lighting from your room or whatever, I would go with a cheap. So say you got a $125 payout.
I have another one outside of that afterwards.
So say you go with a $125 payout. I would go with my LED lights, my floodlights in the back of my room were $50 for the pair, right? And then you can buy a ring light for $30. I think the ring light I have up high is
not your Elgato ring light.
Not my Elgato one. That one was but my
More
ring
than
light,
all of your other lights combined.
my ring light up high was like $30, right? So you could get a nice decent set of lights, turn off all the lights in your room, and just run your streaming lights, right? And I think that's the first big investment. Another key player in this, Sam Woodhull, right? Also a part of Senpai. Put out a video, so if you guys don't have it, I'll try to find it. I'll try to put a link in the description of the video and all that kind of stuff of the podcast. Sam Woodhull put out a video of like how to get good YouTube lighting. He does it for YouTube purposes, but how to get good lighting with a single LED panel or something like that. And so he talks about like light. He has a really good, strong photography background, videography background, stuff like that. So he talks about like how to best put your lighting to make it work effectively in your space. And that's I think is a good step there. Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say? What do you got?
So my brain clicked for a second. I think $100, very easy to do. You just grab yourself a second cheap display. Doesn't have to be anything huge. You can get a nice cheap monitor. It doesn't have to be anything fancy whatsoever as a secondary because you don't need the refresh rates. You don't need the crazy pixels. Just another monitor to be able to put up your OBS software or whatever it may be, just to help you with your production.
I think that's that's excellent. I think that's another really good one. If you are a single monitor streamer, like I get a lot of hey, I get a lot of YouTube views on my single monitor streamer video. Like that is my number one hit video, and it still gets active views today. But I will say that I would tell anybody, go get a second monitor. Like I should make a TikTok on like how to stream with one monitor and then walk out of the store with a new one and be like, buy a second one and then walk away or something like that. That's my TikTok, right? Like how to stream with one monitor.
The credit card, No, and again, because they're not expensive. Like a cheap display, you know, it could be a little 17-inch, 15-inch. It doesn't have to be anything nuts.
You can get them for $65, $75 nowadays.
And, you know, and the smaller and lighter it is, the easier it is to put it somewhere, mount it somewhere, just to give yourself that freedom of seeing chat, seeing a feedback of what you're doing, audio levels, all this kind of stuff that just it makes your life a whole lot easier when you can do that while you're live.
Yeah. Another thing I would suggest, like say you got a set of lights, you got a second monitor, and you're looking for something to buy. I would say some level of stream control, right? Meaning a Stream Deck, a touch portal, and I think there's 2 or 3 other solutions out there that work, right? But those are the 2 that I know of, like Stream Deck, touch portal. You can get a Stream Deck Mini is like $70, I think, right now. Yeah,
the little 3 buttons. Even just a simple, you know, just chatting screen, gaming screen, and something else. You know, it's
just get something simple.
Life-saving for you.
Elgato even has they have the mobile app now. Elgato even has the mobile app. So if you have an Android device, Touch Portal runs on an Android device, right? There's solutions out there to be able to operate and have good control over your stream.
Yeah.
While you're doing it, because again, just like you said, starting soon or be right back screen, huge. Being able to just hit that be right back screen and walk out of the room and then hit it again to come back or whatever. Yeah. That's huge. That's absolutely huge, right?
Not being able to scramble and looking for your window to
alt tab, and especially if you're a single monitor. If you are a single monitor streamer and you're alt tabbing and doing all this other kind of stuff to get to different scenes and things, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. I couldn't imagine having to do that on a regular basis.
Yeah. No, I couldn't. Like, if you told me to stream, like, getting rid of a lot of the essentials that I rely on now, I would probably hate the experience.
Like, with just
one monitor, no Stream Deck, one camera, like, pick one light and use that. Like, oh my God, I'd freak out.
Yeah, it would definitely, you know what? I think I'm going to do that one. I think I'm going to challenge myself.
Like a challenge, yeah.
I'm going to challenge myself. I'd have to do something with the Elgato, though, because I'd go to, like, my cheap ring light.
Right.
I'd bring down my cheap ring light and move the Elgato somewhere.
Caveman stream.
Yeah, caveman stream. Starting all over again.
Yeah, you pull out a candle, you know, like, set it on the table behind yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you get spoiled. I'm looking at 4 displays when I sit here with the Stream Deck, all that kind of stuff. It's just
it's a weird position to be in when you have money in a PayPal account or wherever your Twitch budget goes, and you have to think to yourself, like, and that's the position that I want everybody to be in, right? You have to think to yourself, like, what is my next upgrade? Like, you don't have this like, oh, I need this today. Like, I'm going through that position right now. I'm like, what is my next upgrade? Like, what do I get next? Like, where do I go? And honestly, like, I'm at that point where I think I'm at that point where DSLR is. Like, I've talked about headphones. I've talked about, you know, other like, but to me, headphones are great and they'll be a huge convenience thing for me, but they give no value to the stream. Other than the fact that I can walk to my fridge and you guys don't see my dangly wire. Like, that's the only benefit they give to the stream.
It's a de-stressor in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be able to walk. Yeah. I'll be able to walk across the house.
For me, I want to start looking into mobile equipment. That's just to be able to take the content outside of this room.
I think a big battery bank. Big battery bank and like some other stuff would be a really, really good place to go to for that. You know, like having set up, because you can stream very effectively with a cell phone, right? As long as you have service or
you're
Wi-Fi.
Not wrong, yeah.
The cameras on cell phones are great. Service becomes the questionable issue.
Better than any webcam you're gonna buy.
Right.
Is a cell phone camera.
So they're working great as far as camera quality. It's just getting that service quality up. So we need to figure that out. But
And the beauty we have too is, if we start and decide to do the Wednesday as like a live thing in a certain place, we can kind of like each get our own pieces, see how they work, and then both kind of build our own setups from there. We don't have to go all in on each getting our own mobile platform.
Yeah.
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 It's like just break your brain for a second.
No. Sorry.
He's like, oh, I don't have to buy everything? Cool.
I was thinking about it. I was
what
like,
am I gonna have him buy?
I was kind of like, okay, battery bank.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, I'm trying to like do numbers in my head. How do we split this evenly?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's a good thing to IRL streaming gear if that's what you want to go to. I think that's a great investment too. I think the intention of like when you get super dedicated in IRL gear, like with the extra modems and encoder devices and all that kind of stuff, you gotta be really ready for that. Like that's got to be your main source of revenue at that point.
Yeah. Otherwise, honestly, outside of equipment, I really feel like I have everything I need and want, and even the IRL stuff isn't a necessity. The next purchase in my brain is hiring help.
That's so. So let's
table
perfect segue. No. It's a perfect segue into. We've got about 10 minutes left for tonight. Do you want to table it, or do you want to?
Yeah.
We can start at least and table some of it. That's a perfect segue, I think, into our statement of stop making excuses for your bad content.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because this is an easy
hiring help.
Squash real quick.
Hiring help is great. That is a great thing to think about.
You're welcome.
Because it's everywhere. There are people out there like you go to things, and now you do have to be careful. It's just like hiring a bad graphics artist. It's just like hiring a bad graphics artist. It's like hiring, you do have to find places, but that is a great thing to invest in. Invest in advertising. Invest in SEO help. Like if you guys don't SEO, for those that are listening in and don't know what it is, if you are a content creator, SEO is very vital to you because it's search engine optimization. It's how you get found on Google, right? Like how do you get your name out there? SEO, right? So that's the answer to that. So find ways to have people help you with SEO optimization and stuff. That way you can get discovered, and then that content generates more content or more revenue for you in the future, right? That's a sense of investing into your future. You're not buying gear. You're not buying gear, you're buying your future. You're trying to pay for your future, right?
Yeah, no, and it takes weight off your own shoulders. There's only so much one person can do. So it's, the more you can build that team behind you and the more you can kind of cut the tasks away, especially the stuff that you're not necessarily good at. Take what you're worst at and find somebody to help you with that part first, because you're probably wasting 10 times as much time as you need to trying to get that one little piece that somebody who knows what they're doing can knock out like that.
What would be great today is if somebody could find, and this would be a source. I would pay. You know me. It's hard for me to say this. I would pay a lot.
Padlocks on it.
I would probably pay a lot for somebody to edit my content and create TikTok content for me. Create good TikTok content on my behalf. I think that there's value in that. Or YouTube Shorts or something along that line. Like, I think there's value in that, and grabbing clips from your streams or your games or whatever. Or like, even if it's like, hey, I'll send you all the clips from my last stream, right? I'll send you all my clips, create something that's going to give me a YouTube Short or a TikTok or something that I can upload. And then that way I get 3 TikToks a week or something like that, right? To where you're finding something that, you're basically, like you said, hiring an editor, right? And I would pay for that. That's something I would pay. Because again, you're investing in the opportunity to grow in your future, right? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Oh well, but I mean, advertising doesn't always work, but you need to have the opportunity to get there at some point, right? If you don't do it, if you know you're bad at it, I'm bad at TikTok. I'm really bad at TikTok. I can't figure it out. I've only tried YouTube Shorts twice, so I can't figure out TikTok.
See, for me, I have the ideas. I'm just horrible at editing stuff. Like, I know there's some things I just don't even record because I know I'm going to spend hours and hours and hours editing it, which just I'll probably put off and I'll put off and I'll put off, and it'll never get done. I don't want to say I'm lazy. I am. I know I'm not great at it, and I want to be, and it bothers the crap out of me that it would just take me so long. So if I could, the value of that to me, to have anybody help me cut content, 5 seconds, 10-second clips, 30-second clips here and there, go from one video every month to 20. That's stupid value I would put on
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
I would pay silly,
Yeah, exactly. That's where I think you'll find that, like, you could invest an entire payout in, you could invest $100 a month. If you could invest $100 a month in generating content,
oh yeah,
through an editor, so a video a week or whatever. Say somebody charges you $25 a video, right? And you've got the baseline gear. You've got your base pieces of gear. You know what you need. You know what you have, right? You know how to make it work. Right. And then you take your payout every month and you invest in an editor who's giving you 4 videos a month or something. And then you can turn that into future content that's always existing. It's always generating eyes for you in the future, as you continue to go.
Oh yeah. That's probably more so than the IRL stuff, is assistance is top of my list for what I need next to help myself grow.
So when are you gonna hire an editor then? When are you hiring the editor? I want to hear it.
I'm gonna start looking right now, honestly. Start pricing people out.
I found him for like, about $25 a video to edit. Like, it's like edit 30 minutes of content or something like that for like $25 a video. And I'm like,
well, yeah, but they'll say like 30 minutes of content into a 1-minute video. That's the thing that, like, I need to find somebody that's flexible with.
Just message them.
Even if it's just 6 hours of crap, you don't have to go through it all. Just the first good piece you find, cut something together of it, because I might not remember. And yeah, I don't want to go through 6 hours of shit either. So
that's why I'm paying you to do it.
Yeah. I don't want to be that asshole that talks like that, but like.
No, I totally get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no excuse, right? If you are sitting, not growing. If you are sitting still, you're stagnant, you're not growing. And this is over the period, I would say this is over the period of 6 months, right?
Yep.
If you've seen no growth in 6 months, it's time to ask for help. Stop making excuses.
Yeah.
Stop telling yourself that it's not me, it's the viewer. Oh, if I only had this, or if I only did this, or if only.
The amount of times I hear the if only.
Then if only somebody rated me, if only I could get this many people to actually come to my channel. Well, they're not coming to your channel for a reason. Find ways to get them there.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we need to be doing.
When I get a better webcam, when I get a better graphics card so I can play this game I really want to play. Like, no. None of that matters.
Right. Exactly.
None of that is holding you back
from making
great content and bringing in viewership.
Exactly.
Work with what you got and make it happen.
Yep. And that is the bottom line, because the Game Hopper said so.
Amen. Hop on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an awesome Wednesday. We are going to finish out the night here by saying, what are we going to say, Hopper? What are we going to
say? Thank you to all our lovely supporters out there. Patreon, Twitch, YouTube, Anchor, any other place you guys watch the podcast, listen to the podcast. All you people that support us, listening, watching, hanging out, chatting, you are all the real heroes.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a wonderful episode 35, as Hopper has so corrected me. We will check in with you guys next week. Have a good one.
We'll